going to make the intro quick today because I want to get to some stuff. I've got my coat on and I'm actually going to run out the door, but I have to stamp something first because that makes my whole day. So I'm ready to go, but I have to put my shoes on. Love when a plan comes together. Talk about matchy-matchy, and I'm so excited to wear these boots. I love them. You know, so find that one thing in your life that makes you really happy. Of course, my family makes me happy, but when I'm other than my family, shoes make me so very happy. So if you find something, it might not be shoes, it might be something else, but if there's something that makes you happy, use it, surround yourself with it, you know, put it in your craft room, somehow implement it around you so that you are just in the best mood when you stamp. I've conditioned myself, you know, it's kind of like Pavlov's dogs, but I've conditioned myself when I'm stamping immediately, joy. And I think it's because I always set up my spot to be full of everything that just makes me so very happy. So my challenge for you is to find those things that make yourself happy and use them, surround yourself with them, and then add in stamping because you're going to find a whole lot of joy. Stay tuned for the next project.
Okay, I have set up all the supplies I'm going to be using today, and I'll have, if you want a list of the specifics, I haven't been putting it on my website, but if you would like to know specific numbers of all these different things, like some of these little candy dots that are stickers, some of the certain ink pads and such, just either comment below my video or go to my website, MissFancyStamps.com, and just leave me a message there. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to show you how to make this gorgeous card. Before I get started, I want to show you the stamp colors that I'm going to be using. If you are always curious about what color combinations to put together, I have started collecting a group of these lists and pictures of the colors on my Pinterest board. So I do have a card color scheme board, and I collect different ideas from different people. And this was one that, you know, just maybe I wouldn't have thought of on my own. So pulling from those resources is always kind of a good idea. The Bermuda Bay, Melon Mambo, Smoky Slate, and Basic Gray. I think they are gorgeous colors together. So to start off with, my base for my card is going to be the Melon Mambo. So I've cut an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock in half, and then what I'm going to do is just score this down the middle. Now, what I do for my layering piece, as you'll see, this is just half of the card sheet. And I'm going to go on now and just trim off like a 1/4 inch off of these two sides so that it makes the perfect border for my card. So I'm going to take care of that now on my Stampin' Trimmer, and then I'll go on to the next step. So you'll see this is a 4 1/4 piece of cardstock on the one side. I'm just going to trim off this little piece here. And I'm going to trim off, this is a 5 1/2, so I'm going to go to 5 1/4 and trim off an equal side piece off that side. I have my piece for my card, which I'm going to score, and this is, I'm going to get my measurements straight here. This is the 5 1/2, so this is 4 1/4 I want to score this at. And I don't want to use the dark blade because that's my cutting blade, but this is the scoring blade on the Stampin' Trimmer. And so look how simple that makes it. I love that feature on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. So now when I layer my pieces together, it'll give me the perfect border that I want. All right, for today's card, I'm going to be creating a lot of background images using the gorgeous Grunge and the Butterfly Basics. I love these two sets, excuse me. They have great little background stamps that you can use. So I'm going to start with my Bermuda Bay and just this little, I don't know, just a little decorative background piece here. And I'm just going to kind of randomly place this, and I just figure this out just by kind of, I don't know, experimenting. And I'm just going to do a couple where I don't re-ink it just to get myself a little bit of variety on there. And next, one of my other favorite pieces is this little honeycomb from the Butterfly Basics. I'm just going to set this aside. I'll keep these ink pads open because I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet. And I just want to be able to kind of quickly create some background interest. I kind of want a little bit lighter and maybe just a couple, I mean, it's just very barely going on there in some places. But because of the other stamping I'm going to do, that's actually kind of what I'm looking for. I'm going to use the lighter gray and take the flower from my Butterfly Basics and kind of create that as a little bit of a center piece on there. I'm cleaning off my stamps on my Stampin' Scrub after I use them. I'm in such a habit of doing it that I clean them automatically even if I'm going to be using them again. Another favorite piece I have, I'm going to show you, from this gorgeous grunge are these lines. Oh my gosh, I think they're so awesome. Just really creates some interesting background. I'm going to stamp it off once because I don't really want it as dark as my flower piece. So let's see where else I want to put one of these. Woo, okay, you know, I do that at least once a video, so I guess that's out of my system. All right, I think that's good. Like I said, I don't have a plan for this. I'm just kind of putting things on there wherever. Now I'm just going to add some of from the Gorgeous Grunge, these little splatter dots. And I think I'll do it in gray. And I have stamps mounted on both sides because when I'm doing something like this where I'm just kind of playing around with the background, I just like to be able to stamp. I like to have it all set up and just kind of be able to play around because I'm just kind of experimenting actually. Okay. That'll be good. Then there's also, like, from the same Gorgeous Grunge, is just this little kind of a water splotchy one. Oh, let's do a little of that Bermuda Bay. But I'm going to stamp it off. I don't really want this one so dark. Maybe even stamp it off a couple of times so I just get a real light watermark type look on there. And I'm going to put a greeting. I am just going to use, if I can find it because I have my stamps all set up, the Happy Birthday from the Butterfly Basics. And I'm going to use that Bermuda Bay. It's kind of my favorite color. I tend to kind of switch, and Rich Razzleberry has been one of my favorites. But this Bermuda Bay has really been kind of taking over. Happy birthday on there. All right, so I think for now that that's going to be the background that I want. And like I said, it's kind of an experimental process when I do these types of backgrounds. I'm just going to close up my ink pads here because I'm not sure how long this next step's going to take. And what I want to have is one of the Thinlits of the butterfly little cutouts that I want to put on there. I'm going to bring in my Sizzix cutter here, which you can get through Stampin' Up. Mine is a different color. It's black in the Stampin' Up catalog. And I'm going to have the magnetic platform because I am using the Thinlit dies. And I'm going to show you the 3 butterfly Thinlits that come together in the set. So there's a large, very intricately cut one, a medium, and then the smaller one is just the basic outline. And I'm going to be using the larger one right now. Well, for this card, you know what? I think I'm going to use the medium one. All right, and I'm going to do that on gray cardstock. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to lay a piece, I'm just going to tear a piece off here, a piece of wax paper. I know a lot of people use their like dryer sheets for this, and I don't know. I just haven't gotten addicted to that yet. Now when I have that magnetic sheet underneath there, it helps hold this on. All right. I'm going to roll this through. So I'm going to show you how this comes off here. I've peeled it off my paper so you can see the outline. Get my platform out of here because I make a little bit of mess with some of the edges. And then I'm just going to poke these out. And I don't mind poking these out. I actually find it, I don't know if I want to say fun because you're going to think I'm kind of weird, but I don't mind poking these out at all. So I'm going to poke these out, these larger ones, just totally go through because they're making the little designs. But there are these little, and I'm going to use a square end of this so I don't poke a hole in it. But when I poke through these little circles, that's going to help me remove my entire die from here. And then once I get that off of there, I can just peel away my butterfly. Oh, how adorable is that? Now I don't know, let me get something white behind here. So it's just the gray colored butterfly. Love it. I mean, you would never be able to cut that out without that Sizzix machine. The Big Shot is what I'm using. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on my little butterfly here, and I'm going to show you what I want to do, because I'm going to layer that on top of this piece of cardstock. And I don't want it just gray. I want it to have a little color and a little pop. It'll draw your eye to it. So I'm going to open up my Bermuda Bay and my Melon Mambo and get my trusty sponges, because I love to do some sponging. And I'm just going to give this guy a little bit of color. Just kind of random, maybe the edges of those wings. I'll use that Bermuda Bay. And then I think I'll switch to the Melon Mambo for the interior. And not doing it all because I kind of want that gray to go through. So I'm kind of happy with that right there. And then another thing that I have really been having fun playing with is this. And this is the Dazzling Details. And it's just a little, it looks like a liquid glue type thing here. And so what I'm going to do is it's just going to give a little sparkle. So I'm going to take this, get my glasses so I can see what I'm doing here. I'm just, if I can get it to run, just say my lighting. I hope it's showing up on the video enough, because my lighting in this room isn't so great today. It's kind of cloudy, and I rely a little bit on some sunlight in here to help me sometimes. I'm going through that thing where my glasses, I see better far away. Without my glasses is how I read. All those wonderful things that happen to us as we get older. One thing I love is my shoes remain constant. My feet don't seem to change size as much as everything else. And for the moment, I'm happy they're working the same as always, so I can always go to my shoes. Maybe that's why I love shoes so much, is they're just always a constant. I don't have to worry about something not working. Okay, just going to do a little swirling in here of that Dazzling Diamonds. And then I'm going to use these little candy dots, and I like this little pink one here. It's got a little sticky, and also if I have that Dazzling Diamond on there, let me get my little toothpick here and get it where I want it. And actually, just to give it a little more glitz, I'm going to put a little squirt of that Dazzling Diamond right on that dot. All right, now I'm going to let that dry a little bit, because my Dazzling Diamonds need a little bit of time here to dry. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and show you how I attach that. All right, we're going to put the final pieces of the card together. So I'm going to take the background piece that I had made and just take my snail adhesive here. I'm trying to get to where I use a little bit less of this, because I tend to just really put a lot of that glue on there, and I don't know, it just makes me comfortable that I know it's never going to come off. And just kind of rubbing on it to really make sure it adheres. So there's my basic card piece. Is that zooming in? I can't tell if it's my eyes or if it's my card. All right, then my butterfly that I have finished. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take a glue dot and just press a glue dot onto the back of this. Have that glue dot. Kind of bend the wings up a little bit. I want it to be a little bit of a 3D piece. And let's see if I want him there. Oh, I'm not waiting until everything is too dry here, so I gotta slide that back a little bit. And there you have the card. A beautiful happy birthday with a 3D element that you would, I don't know, I would never be able to cut that out. If I did, it would be, you know, a scary project. But with that Big Shot cutting out this beautiful die cut, It is, I think, just absolutely gorgeous. So have some fun, play around with the background stamps, and if, like I said, if you want any specifics about particulars that I have on here, just let me know. Have a great day and have some fun stamping.